Mentally ill and in jail. Inmates who are supposed to be sent to a state hospital for treatment are instead sitting behind bars. And a new KVUE Defenders investigation found the number of people who have to wait for mental health services in Texas jails is growing fast. Here's investigative reporter Brad Stryker.
If a judge finds someone in jail mentally incompetent to stand trial, usually they're sent to a state facility for treatment. Often they have to wait months, sometimes a year or more in our local jails before they get the help they need. Those people and their families say waiting that long for medical treatment just makes things worse.
You know, he doesn't deserve to be going through this. Most people who know him just say he's just the sweetest kid.
Like most dads, Michael Risenmay thinks the world of his son. Jacob Risenmay has a few mental disabilities like low IQ and autism, but he still writes letters to his family every couple of weeks.
You can see they're not addressed correctly.
Those letters come from here. Bexar County Jail in San Antonio. After a fight on a bus, police arrested Jacob for assaulting a public servant and injuring a person with a disability. A judge found him mentally incompetent to stand trial. That means he needs treatment from a state hospital. He's been waiting to get that help for more than 6 months, sitting in a jail cell.
There's been times we go and he'll have bruising all over his face, or, he's lost a tooth that got knocked out in one of the assaults. There
are stories like this across Texas, many right here in Travis County. Inmates have to wait because there just aren't enough hospital beds in the state for all of them. The state breaks up mentally incompetent inmates into 2 categories: non-maximum security and the more dangerous cases, maximum security. Maximum security inmates can only go to one of 2 hospitals in the state, and non-maximum security inmates have 9 options. On both lists combined, in January 2019, 732 people were waiting in jail for treatment. By October, that wait list reached 900 people sitting in jail on your local taxpayer dollars. In the Travis County Jail, Alex Pickles used to be on that list. His mom, Patricia, remembers the wait.
I think everyone who is involved with the mental health system know that it's broken. We know we have to change it. Now let's come to the table and let's just do that.
How long inmates have to wait is also growing. From January to October, the non-maximum security wait list grew from an average of 44 days to 57 days. In that same time, the maximum security wait list went from 215 days to 308 days on average. That's almost a whole year. Inside the Tarrant County Jail in Fort Worth, LaShunja Allen says she watched her son Carell Harper lose 40 pounds while he waited.
It was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. I cried many nights. Many days and many nights.
Eventually, LaShunja's son made it off the list and into a state hospital, but not everyone is that lucky. This lawsuit against Williamson County, filed in November, highlights the worst-case scenario with waiting in jail for mental health treatment. It claims 24-year-old Daniel McCoy was in the Williamson County Jail, mentally incompetent and waiting for transfer to a state hospital. According to the lawsuit, inmates and guards watched him for months eat his own feces, bang his head against the cell wall, and drink his own bodily fluids. Eventually, the suit says jailers found him unresponsive in his cell, covered in secretions, after violently throwing up for hours, if not days. Eventually, they sent Daniel to the hospital. That's where he died 5 days later from brain damage and pneumonia. Williamson County hasn't filed an answer to the lawsuit and wouldn't comment for this report.
They're suffering. They're not getting the proper treatment, and it's not making it no better. It's making it worse.
The Texas Health and Human Services Commission runs our state hospitals. The agency wouldn't do an interview with us because they're at the center of a class action lawsuit right now about this exact issue. Do you think that the wait list as it exists is potentially a threat to people's safety?
I think that the wait list is very much a threat to the health and safety of the person and to their family and loved ones and their children. It affects everyone.
Diana Clater is the executive director of the Texas Jail Project, a nonprofit group that advocates for jail inmates.
There needs to be more hospitals, and there needs to be more funding and more local facilities too.
State funding has gone up for mental health hospitals since 2018, and a spokesperson says $745 million in construction projects will eventually add nearly 400 new beds for inmates who are waiting. But that will still leave hundreds of people in jail, waiting for mental health treatment. Inmates like Jacob Risenmay in Bexar County Jail.
They can't heal when they're sitting in jail. They can't get better. They can't get the proper medical attention. So it doesn't do anybody any good. It just makes things worse.
Michael said while his family waits for their son Jacob to get the medical help he needs, they're telling everyone they know to write him letters. The goal is to keep him strong enough to make it until he's finally transferred to a state hospital.
And, and there's been several nights where I couldn't sleep at all just because you're worried about what's happening. And, it's not right.
The state's health department has to publish an updated count of the waitlist every 3 months. We're expecting a new report any day now. We'll make sure that we update you as soon as we get those new numbers. For the KVUE Defenders, Brad Stryker, KVUE News.
If there's something you'd like the Defenders to investigate, let us know. Call the number you see on your screen or email us at defenders@kvue.com.